Hello and welcome to this special edition of The Hub on CGTN, and welcome to China-ASEAN Future Relations Forum here in Jakarta, Indonesia. Now, CGTN is very honored and pleased to be invited by the Chinese mission to ASEAN to moderate a key panel discussion of the China-ASEAN Future Relations Forum. And the topic of the discussion will be focusing on people-to-people connections, how to build more robust and stronger people-to-people connections between Chinese and those living in ASEAN. Here's my conversation with the panelists.
As we know, we cannot overemphasize the importance of people-to-people connections. I would like to ask each and every one of you, Your Excellencies and dear friends, to think about a country, and then what comes to mind when you think about that very country. Oftentimes, of course, it's a news report, but other than that, it could be the first point of contact, first foreign friend that you made from that very country, or the people, the persons that you've come to engage often on a regular basis. And that defines to a large extent what you understand, what you perceive that country and that culture to be. So culture to culture and people to people relations are very important, and we're really glad and thrilled to have I would say, a cutting-edge panel representing diverse countries and societies throughout Southeast Asia and also China. How you look at the state of affairs when it comes to people-to-people exchange, and where do you think it should go next?
I would say that, China and ASEAN, or in the whole of East Asia, we share the common or similar civilizational elements between us in East Asia, or in the North and Southeast Asia, in particular China and ASEAN country. And the second, I would say that this kind of their sharing their civilizational elements or their dimensions, so make us to deeper our heart-to-heart connection with each other, because it's easier for us to understand with each other, right? And then the third, based upon this kind of heart-to-heart foundation, so make it important for us to enhance the strategic connectivity between China and ASEAN. Not only is there, the East Asian cooperation, but also from China's side, we said that's the Belt and Road Initiative. China is also quite diverse, similar like ASEAN country. So in this regard, that means we share the similar background of multi-dimensional civilization between us. So because of this kind of the similarity, make our two parts, Southeast Asia and China, easier to interaction with each other.
There is no better way to connect us as humanity, as part of humanity, better than people-to-people exchanges. Education, travel, we consume our mutual cultural products, film, music, and I think these people-to-people exchanges do enrich our experiences, and more importantly, they open our mind to different perspectives. I think the purpose of people-to-people exchanges is not about achieving uniformity, but it is more about understand each other's concerns and anxieties or interests more, putting ourselves in others' shoes and appreciate the diversity of views and interests. Given the current estrangement, the tensions between China and the Western countries, the US especially, which have grown deeper and wider, I think Southeast Asian countries, Southeast Asian people must actively engage with China. Historically, but also geographically and economically, even politically or religiously, Southeast Asia is the bridge between the East and the West. According to our survey, China consistently emerges as the most influential power in the region in both economic and strategic security terms. But at the same time, I think the trust rating of China, there is still much room for further improvement. And I think China has done a lot in terms of official diplomacy. China has become the top infrastructure development partner for the whole region. But in terms of education, China remains quite far behind. In that sense, China can do much more to win the hearts and minds of Southeast Asian people, because when we talk about the soft power, it is investing in the human capital is the key.
I believe that depending economic integration through trade agreements, investment partnership, and infrastructure development project that benefit both ASEAN nation and China, will help us to connect people to people. For instance, I just read that between China and Laos, there is a train to connect from Laos to Kunming. And the 4th point I want to underline here is educational and academic collaboration. I think youth people also have to participate more. I agree with the speaker from session 1. I think former Minister of Foreign Affairs from Brunei, he mentioned the importance of to invite youth generation to participate in China-ASEAN relation. This year, we celebrate 33 years of ASEAN-China dialogue partnership. I do believe in 33 years, we can keep together, we can maintain peace and stability in our region. I do believe even in 100 years, we will also can keep peace and stability in our region.
ASEAN, China, because we're neighbors. We cannot choose our neighbors, but we can choose the kind of relations we want to have with them, especially in the long run. So I studied in China for 1 year. So back in 2014, I realized how underrepresented Filipinos are in China relative to our ASEAN peers. So I think there's a lot of scope for cooperation in this aspect. There are certain fields of study that I think China can benefit many of its neighbors in ASEAN. Sciences, technology, engineering. These are areas where many Chinese universities are already among the world's top. I think it would be good for China to consider, on the long run, investing in promoting educational exchanges between the young people of Southeast Asia and of China, because this investment is an investment for the future.
If you may, I can asking you to looking for a foreign and finer ASEAN country map. I propose that is the life theory of the ASEAN. Why I mentioned that? Because in the ASEAN, we have to become one, not against each other. But even that we don't want to be each other, to stick to each other, but we have to become one like a baby, like the embryo. To see your baby, what you want to give it to your baby, your own baby, you give them love, heart, confidence, and belief that to successful into growing to become the best person in the world. And what we can give it to them to support is the best educations, excellence of the environment, and the peaceful and prospective wealth region. In terms of the economics integrate and the partnership, we can strengthen economic cooperation through initiative like we have Airbnb, Belt and Road Initiative, and ASEAN-China Free Trade, and also a lot of the investment project is benefits to both regions. So that's why we can see the future of the strength for our community through our cultural exchange and economic partnership. And we can share the value amongst the ASEAN country and China, can deepen to comprehensive strength with the partnership.
There is a Chinese saying, 饮水思源, that means like when drinking water, think of its source. So I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Chinese government as well as the Asian countries' government for offering us the opportunity to study at the top university in China. The two key concepts, particularly resonate with me, from Confucian thought, is 天下大同, is the great harmony of the world, and 厚德载物. That means with the great virtue, one could take charge of the world. And these profound ideas have become guiding principle for my future endeavors in international development and cooperations. So the youth of China and ASEAN nowadays, we are living in a world full of opportunities and challenges. And on the one hand, we benefit from economic growth, stability, peace, and advanced digital technology, thanks to the efforts of our predecessors. And as young leaders, we are fortunate to stand on the shoulder of giants. And China and ASEAN nowadays, we have a comprehensive strategic partnership. We have become crucial partners in economic, in trade, in technologies, education, culture, tourism. However, these advantages will not last if we don't know how to preserve them. So therefore, young people must take the responsibility for maintaining peace, stability, and strong partnership between China and ASEAN to create a harmonious world, 天下大同. So given our elevated position, we must adopt a far-sighted perspective. And on the other hand, we are facing numerous challenges as the conflict and violence continue to affect various regions worldwide. And also geopolitical competition pose a threat to our securities and to our stability. And additionally, issues such as the climate change, the rapid advancement of AI and technology complex our landscape. So the principle 厚德载物 is the with great virtue one can take charge of the world, urge us to adopt the values such as love, compassion, empathy, so humility, integrity, as opposed to the conception, prejudice, and the selfishness. So we need to have a cooperative mindset, not one of rivalry, to find the solution to global problems together. In our diverse world, the effective communication is crucial for dialogue and mutual understanding and trust building, as we talk a lot about it. So I believe that the trust and the friendship we are forming today will provide a solid foundation for political and strategic partner in the future.
We talk about the issue of having this information cocoon, right? We do not know enough about each other, Chinese and ASEANers, largely due to the fact that we're of course blessed by different languages and diversity in languages and cultures, but it can also be a hindrance in that ordinary people, grassroots people, they may not be able to speak Chinese, us neither, in speaking Burmese or Cambodian, Vietnamese. So what can be an effective way to really break out of this information cocoon, and for non-state actors? We've been talking a lot about state actors, government scholarships, which is beautiful and great, which has been very supportive, but also for non-state actors and market entities to play a larger role in fostering more people-to-people engagement to make it more robust.
Based upon this kind of commonality and similarity between us, so I would give you several words to define our, heart-to-heart relation with each other, like inclusiveness. Our Chinese ASEAN country, we are very much inclusive based upon our different and even diverse culture, right? But it was easy for us to go in with each other, inclusiveness, right? And then the second, there's the unity with diversity, right? So we are the entity within the region, not only Southeast Asia, but also East Asia as a whole, right? Like the calabash, we are the identical region of East Asia, and respect, mutual respect with each other, right? Even though we have some differences, right? But easier for us to respect with each other based upon their differences, based upon their will, somehow of their, eating, cooking, or speaking, but we respect with each other. Very much important, right? And Another one is coexistence, right? You know, coexistence is commonality between us. You know, this year is the 70th anniversary of the Chinese proposal with our ASEAN country, like Myanmar, as enforced the peaceful coexistence as a foreign policy principle, right? So this is very important, coexist with each other in East Asia, right, among us.
I'm a Vietnamese, so it gives me a lot of background to answer this question. We know that Vietnam and China have disputes in the South China Sea. And we also have historical experiences that are not always pleasant. And it is still quite present in the psyche of Vietnamese people. But at the same time, Chinese culture, the bonding with the Chinese state throughout history has been part of our nation building as well. And having a good relationship with China is the sine qua non. I mean, the most important condition for Vietnam to have a conducive external environment. We are all aware of the long arm of the state. I think saying it as a Vietnamese citizen, and also China, we have certain political similarity in terms of the political system. But at the same time, I think as much as possible, try to depoliticize or refrain from politicizing people-to-people exchanges. You know, the best propaganda is not to have propaganda. China has a lot to be proud of and to promote and to be admired by the world. Let all of these grassroots exchanges, flows unfold as naturally as possible, even in times of bilateral relations tensions, so that they can be, I think, a very good, solid disincentive towards extreme perceptions or extreme policies vis-à-vis each other.
We have many similarities between ASEAN and China, and we have to work together to strengthen our relationship, to work together to build a mutual trust amongst people, because if we don't have trust, I don't think that we can work together. We have first foundation is we trust each other. We should build trust first amongst people, and from that we can integrate more deeper in our relationship.
Economics and people-to-people exchanges can serve as a sturdy ballast for ASEAN-China relations. But if these relations wants to move forward, be more mature, we should also be able to discuss, confidently and be able to resolve our differences by ourselves.
It just can start this for a younger, not just young leader or young scholar. We can start it with a child who's. I can show you an example that we have done by the past when Laos and China. What we did is we got support from China's governance to provide 100 of the primary school students to take the railway trains from Vientiane to Kunming, and Kunming to Guangzhou, and then Guangzhou to Beijing, and then Beijing to Shanghai. So I think this is time for the young student or the children to having friends, to making friends first. Then we can know that we have friends in China, because not a lot of students then have friends in China. So how do you can build a trust even we don't know each other? So if we start to know each other, then we can learn from each other. We not just learn from the successful, but we learn from the mistake. So you're not perfect, me, they're not perfect, and everyone not perfect, but we can make things better by learning from mistakes.
That was my conversation with the panelists at China-ASEAN Future Relations Forum. Let's take a short break. Don't go away.